My name is Angela.
And I'm Flloyd, and we're part of the recruitment team at the University of Toronto.
Today, we're here to answer some of the most common questions that we get about U of T admissions from Ontario high school students. So, let's jump right in.
I've got the first question, if you're ready, Angela. As a prospective student, when do I apply?
Thanks, Flloyd. And what a great question to get us started off. So, you're ready to apply. What dates should you be looking out for? For applicants from an Ontario high school who complete the OUAC 101 application, your grades and academic transcripts will be sent to us electronically by your school. You can begin completing your application once you receive a PIN from your guidance office, typically between September to November. While we don't have early consideration for 101 applicants, certain programs do have recommended early application deadlines, which you'll be able to find on our important application dates page. We encourage Ontario high school students to apply well before the deadlines. Remember, the earlier you apply, the earlier you can move on to the next steps in the application process. Speaking of the application process, this is the timeline of your final year of high school. Admission decisions are typically released starting in January and continuing throughout the spring. We encourage you to apply early and to regularly check your Join U of T applicant portal or engineering applicant portal to keep an eye on the status of your application.
So what you're saying is I should apply early once I have my PIN. Got it.
Right. Flloyd, question for you now, and this one comes up a lot. How many applications can I submit to U of T?
You're right, this one does come up a lot. You can submit up to 3 applications to U of T, but are limited to 1 application per campus or faculty. To show you what I mean, you can submit 1 application to each of the blue bubbles to a maximum of 3 U of T choices. You don't need to declare specific programs of study during the application stage. Instead, you'll be applying to a broad admission category or at a particular campus or faculty. An admission category is a broad set of fields like life sciences or humanities and encompasses multiple programs of study. Keep in mind that some programs are offered at all 3 campuses, while others are campus-specific. For instance, if you were interested in computer science or business, you have options at all 3 of our campuses. Likewise for programs in social sciences, humanities, and life sciences. If you want to study engineering, you'll want to apply specifically to our Faculty of Applied Science and Engineering at the St. George campus, as engineering is unique to that campus. Same thing for forensic science or international development studies. You'll want to apply specifically to U of T Mississauga or U of T Scarborough, respectively, as those programs are unique to each of those campuses. As a U of T student, you'll have opportunities throughout your degree to combine programs and areas of interest from your admission category and others.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Here's another pretty common question. If I won't have my final grades before the application date, can I still apply?
Yes, absolutely. Very few of our applicants will have all of their final grades available at the time they apply. And it's because of this, we strongly encourage you to apply well in advance of our deadlines and not to wait until you have final grades. In terms of what we're looking for on admission, our admission decisions will be based on your final grades from previous years and finals in progress grades from the current year. It's okay that we don't have your final grades because our offers of admission are conditional based on you completing your high school studies and maintaining good academic standing. As more of your grades become available, your guidance office will send us your updated grades. U of T has multiple admission consideration rounds, and with each round, a student's application is considered based on the most up-to-date grades available.
While we're talking about the admissions process, Angela, how are grade 11 marks considered?
Great question. Admission consideration is based on grade 11 finals and any available grade 12 results. This includes midterms and finals. In the early part of the year, when grade 12 marks are not available, we start by considering grade 11 results, so offers can be made based on your grade 11 marks. Once available, we prefer to use grade 12 results. Did you catch all of that, Flloyd?
Yeah, I sure did.
All right, Flloyd, back to you. Personal essays and references, do I need them? And for extracurricular activities, are there any specific ones you're looking for?
In most cases, admission to U of T is based on your academic results. Unless you're asked for them, we don't encourage students or applicants to submit personal essays, statements, reference letters, or a list of your extracurricular activities. However, some program areas will request that kind of information. We refer to this as a supplementary or supplemental application. Typically, only these program areas ask to know a little more about you or perhaps why you want to join the program. Supplementary applications vary by program area and may include short answer, essay-style questions, or even a video response. It's important to remember that it's not a test of your knowledge of the subject matter, so no need to stress, you don't have to do any special studying. If you are applying to a program area which requires a supplementary application, you will be linked to it through your Join U of T applicant site or the engineering applicant portal after we've received your initial application.
Great. Okay, here's a tough one for you, Flloyd. How are IB grades reported as an Ontario high school student?
Yeah, nice try, but it's actually pretty simple. IB students studying in an Ontario high school don't have to complete any special steps when applying to U of T. Their marks are converted from IB grades into standard percentage grades and submitted via the OUAC, like all other high school students in Ontario. As a student, your school will complete this conversion process. So if you have questions about it, get in touch with your guidance office or your IB coordinator. In the consideration process, IB students receive no admissions advantage over students studying the Ontario curriculum. However, they may be eligible to receive transfer credits for some higher level IB courses. You can find more information on our transfer credit page online. While we're talking about transfer credits, if you're taking an AP class in your Ontario high school and choose to take the AP exam, you also may be eligible to receive transfer credits based on your results. You can also find more information on our transfer credit page, also online. How's that, Angela?
You're too good, Flloyd. I thought I would have gotten you with that one.
Let's change gears a little and talk money, scholarships specifically. How would I apply for a scholarship at U of T and what would be considered?
So the great thing about U of T is that all applicants are automatically assessed for merit-based awards upon submitting an application to the university. And because these are automatic, this means no additional application is required. However, there are some awards that require a separate application. And a good example of this is the National Scholarship, which is one of U of T's most esteemed scholarship programs for Canadian students, which includes Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and protected persons, such as convention refugees. This scholarship covers tuition, living expenses, and other costs associated with university for up to 4 years of study. To apply to this scholarship, some students may be nominated by their guidance office, but it doesn't require a nomination. And so all candidates who feel they meet the eligibility criteria are welcomed and encouraged to apply directly. Another thing to mention here, Canadian students can also submit our awards profile. The awards profile is used to consider you for additional awards and scholarships that have financial need, academic merit, leadership, and other special criteria. You'll be able to access the awards profile on the Join U of T applicant portal after you've applied. And once you get here, there's also in-course scholarships that are administered by your faculty and division. These scholarships are awarded to current students who are excelling in their programs.
Building off that, U of T also offers needs-based scholarships and funding. But first, we need to talk about scholarships and grants really quickly. Scholarships typically are merit-based, while grants typically are not, so they're needs-based. While the vast majority of our scholarships are based on your academic merit, the majority of our funding for Canadian students is actually needs-based grants and bursaries. Canadian students, that would be Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and protected persons such as convention refugees who are receiving government student aid such as OSAP or band funding or community sponsorship may be eligible to access U of T's financial aid program, known as UTAPS. UTAPS helps cover the cost of tuition and other expenses at university that might not be met by scholarships and government student aid. UTAPS is a grant, not a loan, so you don't need to pay it back. The amount of money a student receives as UTAPS funding varies depending on the individual student's needs. Visit uoft.me/UTAPS for more information.
And an important thing to note here is that this resource is only available to full-time Canadian students, so international and part-time students are not eligible. Students enrolled in their co-op, internship, or professional experience year terms are also not eligible.
Thanks, Angela. I've got one more question if you have one more answer.
I sure do.
If I've done my schooling entirely in English, do I still have to provide an English language test?
Great question, and a really important one too. If English is not your first language, you may need to provide proof of adequate English facility, unless you qualify for one of the following exemptions. Number 1, you have completed or will complete 4 or more years of full-time study in a recognized Canadian school in Canada that teaches in English. Number 2, you have completed or will complete 4 or more years of full-time study in an English language school located in a country where the dominant language is English. Or number 3, your first language is French and you have completed 4 or more years of full-time study at a Canadian school. If you don't qualify for one of the exemptions I just mentioned, not to worry. We have a whole host of tests and qualifications that we accept as proof of adequate English facility. And you can find them all on our website at uoft.me/ELR.
Well, that was great, Angela. Thanks for such a thorough response.
Thanks, Flloyd. And be sure to check out future.utoronto.ca/apply for complete details on the application process or to simply revisit what was said here today. Once applications open this fall, you'll be able to access them directly through that Future website.
So that brings us to the end of our frequently asked questions by Ontario high school students. Thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, and we hope to see you soon.